So we're in this space of concentration, yeah? Practicing concentration. It's concentration is so important. Of course, all these things are important, but concentration is so important. We could spend the whole year on it. We could spend the whole year on it because it's so central to this practice. It's so central to this practice. Um, and I'd like to emphasize two of the issues with concentration, which make it difficult for us, which make it difficult for us. One is that we don't have much faith in it. This is one of these areas in the practice which we really don't understand. We really don't have faith in concentration. And the reason is this. Um, it's because we're such cognitive beings. We're such cognitive beings. And all of our meaning making has come through thinking, through thinking. In fact, I will often say that we take refuge in thinking. That's our starting point, is that we take refuge in thinking, not in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, but in thinking. Yeah, that's where the mind goes, always. Even when we see something a little bit going on in a meditation practice, immediately we want to think about it and make meaning about it in the ways that we make meaning about everything, that we've always made meaning about everything. We want to make a story about it, etc., etc. But what concentration is asking us to do is not prioritize thinking. It's asking us again and again, specifically, to not prioritize thinking and to pay attention to something in a non-cognitive manner. It's paying attention to a non-cognitive object or subject in a non-cognitive manner. We don't do that. That's not what we do. That's not how we make meaning. And we have no sense of how we could possibly, something very, very important could come forward from putting thinking aside. I mean, really putting it aside, again and again and again, and settling into a space where thinking is just not the priority at all. No, we don't have faith in that. And the second thing is that we're not very good at it. We're not very good at it anyway, even if we tentatively a little bit try to bring our attention to it. There's so often there's no real juice in it. There's no real intention, that this is how practice goes deeper. It doesn't go deeper without this. The Buddha is really clear about this. This is not, we're not making this up now. And it's clear in our own experience the truth of this. But it takes a while to see this. It takes a while to see this. Sure, we will settle for a couple breaths, but then off we go to the races, off we go to thinking. When the mind wanders away, where does it go? Thinking, right? In some way or other, planning, regretting, expecting, demanding, judging, right? Assessing, evaluating, always, 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 always thinking, coming in there. And this business about quieting the mind, stilling the mind, focusing the mind, and not thinking is completely foreign to us. It's completely foreign to us, and we do not have faith in it. We can learn to have faith in it, but we can learn to have verified faith in it, but not until we really start to experience the benefit from it. But here's the catch-22. We don't experience the benefit from it until we have enough faith in it to do it, and to really practice it and to really make it the front and center, the real go-to, the puzzle that we haven't solved, the game that we're not very good at. We're not very good at it, but we have to play it. We have to play that game. We have to get into it. We have to find a way to continue to come back. You hear us say again, to be willing to come back, to be willing to come back, not in a way that the association so often with concentration is it's shutting down the mind. It's boring. It's boring. And sometimes it's even claustrophobic. It's like, well, no, it's way more interesting to just think about things. Of course it is. That's what's interesting. The breath is not interesting. Yeah. The breath is not interesting until we learn how to make it interesting. Okay. Yeah. Important to understand this is the starting point for all of us. It's not that there's something particular. Well, maybe I'm just not doing it quite the right way. No, you haven't learned how to bring real interest to it and real intention to it. You haven't learned how to stay with it again and again and again, as if it's the most important thing for this period of time. To really cultivate, you know, not this kind of tight, as we've said, not this kind of tight, okay, I'm okay, I'll do it, darn it. Let me hold on to the breath, I can do it. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna hold on to it. No, but how to take as much interest in the breath as we would take with anything else that naturally calls our interest, like a sunset, like something beautiful in nature, by a beautiful arrangement of flowers, by a grandchild, something that this amazing dog that's here with us that we spent, you know, we know how to get interested in things outside of ourselves. Inside, concentration is like, wow, yeah. No, I'm not that good at it anyway. Maybe I can just skip over this and just do some other kind of open-ended mindfulness practice. We do that all the time. We do that all the time. And what we're suggesting to you is that everything will start to get richer when you have learned, and when you really start to play this instrument, this concentration instrument, when you really learn how to settle a little bit more, calm a little bit more, yeah, take interest a little bit more in in concentration and in the tranquility, which is another word for concentration, in the tranquility that can start to arise. In that sense, and you've all experienced it for a few seconds, right? Here and there, a breath here and there. But when you settle enough so that the afflictive emotions no longer are running rampant through the landscape of the psyche, when there's not so much restlessness, when there's not so much boredom, when there's not so much heaviness, when there's not so much aversion, when there's not so much, all those afflictive emotions start to settle down. And when they start to settle down, why? Because the breath becomes more interesting. Yeah. Now, maybe you've tasted this for moments here and there, but there is a point where the breath becomes more interesting than any thought I could possibly have. It becomes so interesting that you could feel the thought start to pull you away, and you go, no, I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. Not now. Thank you very much. It's so much richer here. It's starting to feel pleasant here. For the first time, I'm able to begin to rest here a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It's getting really comfortable here a little bit more without so much wild thought, you know? There's just enough, the mind is just there enough to kind of keep 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 the attention here, to keep it here, to keep it right here. I want to stay right here. I do. I want to stay here. How do I stay here? How do I learn to stay here? How do I learn to stay here a little bit longer? How do I learn how to linger here? And start to be more delighted here? This will start to happen in concentration. Things start to clarify. The afflictive emotions start to fall away more and more of the time. Hmm? And it starts to get very rich. It starts to get it's a different kind of experience. And that's a very rich kind of experience. It's not a spaced out experience. There's a great deal of presence here. That is what we're cultivating, presence, you know? And so I just, we just find different ways to punctuate this for you. The importance of this, the importance of concentration, the importance of playing these scales. Yeah. You'd rather do something else. We'd always rather be doing something else. But concentration is the gateway. It is the gateway. There is no workaround with concentration. There's no other way to go deeper into meditation. Okay? And the sooner you really get that, you can start to say, okay, let me set up my tent here. This is the game. This is the puzzle. Let me play at this. Let me come back to this. Let me cultivate this. You know, I don't need to think about the Dharma now, even. This is time to settle. This is time to really, really, really begin to practice coming in for a landing in this way. There's this quote from Francis de Sales, who's a Christian mystic, who said that even if the course of a meditation of an hour, says of an hour, the mind wanders 100 times, but every time there's been a willingness to return, the hour has been well spent. Yeah. We agree with that. Yeah. Will get stronger, but only if you really dial into the importance of it. Okay. Yeah. And so now we say that, and it sounds like, well, now we can make it more. It's not about making it more intense. That's why it's more the willingness to incline in this direction. Okay, to incline in this direction again and again and again, as if this is the most important thing, as if there's nothing you'd rather be doing. There's nothing more important right now in meditation than developing more of that steadiness and calm of concentration. Okay? Yeah. So that's today's encouragement. Okay? And thank you for your attention. And now we'll practice together. Open up the body and practice together. Yeah. So. And beginning to slow the movements down. And when you're ready, lightly closing the eyes. And I will very often, right at the beginning of meditation, one of the things I'll do is, intend to not have this be a thinking session. Yeah, I'll have a little talk to myself. The talk goes like this: not now, not now, not now. That's pretty much it with regard to thinking. And whenever it does come up, which it will many times, that's what I'll say in a nice way. Not now. No? Now is for the breath. Now is for inviting attention to the breath to take that head seat at the table. The main seat. And not simply to begin to observe it, but to feel it. And to gently orient toward comfort and ease with regard to the breath. Watching over it, feeling into it, and encouraging it to be easeful. And when you notice that the attention has drifted away, mm, gently returning, gently easing back into the next breath, this next breath. Mm. Again and again, when the mind drifts away, it's that willingness to not continue with that thought stream when you notice it, but to simply say, in a nice way, right? Not now. And just ease back, slide back into this next already moving breath, as if it were precious and dear. And softening the breath, and softening the relationship to the breath. As if you could rest a little in the flow of the breath.